everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, please don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you get notified every time I post a new video. If you have not read the title already, today's video is going to be a mini book haul, so I'm going to be showing you every book that I currently have, and without further ado, let's get into the video. To start off, we have Meet Me Under the Mistletoe by Jenny Bayliss. Now, I have not read this book yet. I bought this during December of last year, but hopefully I'll be reading it this year because I was really wanting to read this, but I didn't end up doing so. So this will be on my TBR list for December. Okay, for the next book we have It's Not Summer Without You by Jenny Han. Now, I read the first one during summer of 2021 and I did not get to this one, and unfortunately that's really sad because I really wanted to read this whole series together, but I didn't end up doing so. So this will be on my list for this summer. So yeah. To keep going with the Summer I Turned Pretty series, I have We'll Always Have the Summer. This is also by Jenny Han. This is the third book to the trilogy, and I'll be reading this as well in summer. For the next book we have It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover, and if you've seen my last video, you know that this is on my January TBR list, and guess what? It's finished, so you'll be hearing about this when I do my review. For the next book we have Window Shopping by Tessa Bailey. I read this during December, and this was a really good book, so yeah. For the next book we have What to Say Next, and this is by Julie Buxbaum. I have not read this book. I actually had this book in my library for the longest. This book has been in my library for years. I got this back in 2018, I think, or 2017, one of those years. This has been in here for the longest, and it's been the longest book on my TBR besides another one that you'll be seeing later. But this one right here I've been wanting to read, and I definitely should read it, so this is on my TBR list for this year as well. Alright, for the next book we have Nick and Noel's Christmas Playlist by Cody Hall. Now, I have not read this book. I also got this book during December of last year, but I did not end up reading it, so this is also going to be on my TBR for December. For the next book we have It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey. Now, this book I got during the summer of last year, but I did not end up reading it, so this will be on my summer TBR list as well. For the next book we have One Day in December by Josie Silver. If you've seen my first video, you know I read this during December, and this was a really good book. I mean, I love this book from the bottom of my precious heart. Love this book. Anyway, yeah, so this is the book I read in December, and hopefully I'll read it again this December. For the next book we have Where the Crawdads Sang by Layla Owens. If you see my first video, you know I read this during last year. This is a really good book. I recommend this book. This is highly recommended for me anyway. I recommend this to people. This is really good. It's an emotional read. It's historical. It's beautiful. So I would definitely give this a 10 out of 10. I know this isn't a review video. Sorry. But yeah, this is really good. Anyway. Okay, for the next book we have Home Sweet Christmas by Susan Mallory. Now, this was another book I bought during December but did not end up reading. So hopefully I'll be reading this December as well. So yeah. This is on my December TBR as well. For the next book we have The Fine Print by Lauren Asher. Now, I've heard so many things about this book, and I mean so many things. This has been on my TikTok, this has been on my YouTube short, this has been on everything. So I'm literally so ready to read this. This is a series. This has 3 books to it. So this is the first one. So I'm going to give this book a read, and if I really love this, I'll get the next 2. For the next book, we have Layla by Colleen Hoover. Now, this was in my first video. I read this last year. Wasn't my favorite book. Anyway, I've already read this. For the next book, we have Everything, Everything. This is by Nicole, and this was also in my reads for last year. So if you've seen my first video, you know half of these books are all in that video. But anyway, this was another book I've already read, and it's in my library. Okay, for the next book we have If He Had Been With Me. This is by Laura Nowlin. Now, if you've seen my last video, you know that this book is on my January TBR list. So I will be reading it this month, and I have not started it yet. For the next book we have Orbiting Jupiter by Gary D. Schimdt. If you see my first video, you know I read this last year and it was a 4. Anyway, yeah, this is also in my library and I've also already read it. For the next few books, we have the series. This is the Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation. So I have the first one, the second one, and the third one. So This is the 3 books I have right now. There's 5 books to this series, so yeah. If you didn't know, I've already read 1 and 2. I just haven't read number 3 yet. For the next book, we have People We Meet on Vacation. This is by Emily Henry. Now, I started this book, but I did not finish this book. Now, that is very unusual of me, but I ended up not reading this completely. I've only read like maybe 70 pages. I'm not really sure. It's on my Goodreads. Anyway, I didn't finish this book, so this is going to be in my summer. This is going to probably be the first one I read because I didn't even finish it. So I'm going to start this one again and read it all the way through this time. Okay, for the next book we have See Me. This is by Nicolas Sparks. Now, when I was talking about the books that I had for years with what to say next, this was the book I was talking about. This is a book I've had for years as well, and I have not read this book, and I'm horribly ashamed that I've had this book in my library as well as What to Say Next for the longest. So this is also going to be on my TBR for this year, and hopefully I read it. For the next book, we have The Way Back Home by Courtney Peppernell. Now, if you see my last video, you know that this is on my January TBR list as well. And guess what? Finished number 2. Anyway, I'm 2 books down. Still got 3 more to go, and we're almost through this month. So we'll see what happens when I do the review. For the next book, we have In a Holidaze by Chrisina Lauren. Now, this was a book I read in December, and it was my favorite book, but yeah, I've already read this book. For the next book, we have Things We Never Got Over. This is by Lucy Score, and I have not read this book yet. This is on my TBR for this year, so hopefully I'll be reading this very soon because the second book does come out in February, so I'm like so ready to read this, like drop down, read you. Like I'm ready to read you, but I'll be reading this very, very soon, so you'll be seeing this shortly in another video. Okay, for the next book, we have How to Make Friends with the Dark. This is by Kathleen Glasgow. If you see my last video, you know that this is also on my January TBR list, and I have not read this yet, and hopefully I get to it very, very soon. Okay, we have the next book, The Crowned, Holly Jackson, the woman who got me back into reading with A Good Girl's Guide to Murder trilogy. This is As Good as Dead, the 3rd book to the trilogy, the final book in the trilogy. So I will definitely be reading this year because I read the first 2 back in 2021, and unfortunately I didn't get to this book until now. So we're definitely going to read this year, and you'll definitely be seeing this soon because yes, why wouldn't I finish it? I'm definitely going to be reading this very soon, so stay tuned. Okay, for the next book, we have Kiss Her Once for Me by Alison Cotran. Now, this is a book I bought in December as well. This is the last and final book I got in December and didn't read. So, yes, this is a book I got in December and I did not read it. I will be reading it, I promise. A lot of people have said a lot of good things about this book, and I'm definitely ready to read it, but in December. So, you will be seeing this book in December. Unfortunately, we won't be seeing this book for a minute. We'll be buying books intermediately anyway, so this one will be having to hold on for a while, a very long while. But anyway, I'll be reading this in December, hopefully, and I hope you stay tuned to see that and my review on this later in the year. For the next book, I have The Invisible Life of Addie Larue. This is by V. Schwab. Now, if you don't know, this book is amazing. It deserves its title in the New York Times bestsellers, you know? Like, this book is that good. Like, the way it's written, the way the plot is thought out, the way the history is written, it's just like so beautiful. Now, I like highly recommend this to anybody. Like, this is literally in my top 10. Like, hands down. Anyway, this is like an amazing book, and if you've seen my first video, you'll see me rant about it there too. So anyway, this is this book. Last but not least, we have Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter, and this is a book I am currently reading. If you did not see my last video, this is my January TBR list book. This is the other one on there. So I have 5 books in total on that video. So this is the book I'm reading currently, and I finished 2 and I still have 2 more to go. So this is the one in the middle. Hopefully we finish this very, very soon because we only have like a couple weeks left, and I'm trying to hurry up and rush, like literally rushing. Like tonight I will be packing in reading, tomorrow I'll be packing in reading. Anyway, yeah, read. Anyway, this is the last book on this list, and so yeah. Alright, you guys, if you made it all the way to the end of this video, please don't forget to comment an open book emoji because we love to read. And please don't forget to follow me on all of my socials linked down below because you can literally follow everything that I do. My Goodreads is also linked down below, so you can also see what I'm reading with me. And don't forget to like and subscribe down below. And I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!